Good morning. Hi, cubies and newbies. I'm Sunshine. Thanks for joining. This is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. I'm ABCube tutor. Thanks for joining me. And this is this is a simpler method for solving every complexity Rubik's Cubes, meaning that it does not just work on the 3x3. It also works on anything smaller like a 2x2 and anything bigger like a 5x5 or more. And unlike the traditional way of solving the cube, when you're advancing up to a next size up through the 5, you don't. There's not more algorithms to learn, and then you reduce it to a 3x3. This is not a reductionist method. This is a direct solve method. It works on every complexity Rubik's Cube. Two formulas. Formula A is 4 moves. It's right there. That's 1 row and 1 column. 4 moves. For every left there's a right, for every up there's a down. And so it's a commutator, meaning that it's only going to affect the pieces that you want to affect as long as you do it in sets. And formula B is 8 moves, also a commutator. For every left there's a right, for every up there's a down. And you'll notice that for every horizontal is the reverse of the one before it. So it's a commutator, and it only moves 3 pieces around. My mic is not on. Oh, school bus, thank you so much for telling me that. I can see it going. Hold on. Let me see what's wrong. Thank you for telling me. I go to my settings. Should be, I can see my microwave working. So when you say my mic is not on, are you sure it's not on your end? Because I can see on my Twitch stream that when I speak, the line goes across. Is anyone else hop in? Anyone else want to tell me whether my mic is working or not? It is now. Oh, thank you. I did the old turn it off and turn it on again. Tech support for dummies. Zoom. I don't have Zoom set up right now, and the reason is because I'm trying to figure out how to Twitch from twitch.tv instead of from the Twitch app, because the app is going away at the end of this month. So I'm been trying to figure out that. But I could do that real quick if anyone else is interested as well. If you get someone else to say they want to Zoom, if it's not just you and me, if you get someone else, if someone else says Zoom, I'll do it. But if it's just you and me, I'm going to save that for Saturday. All right. So, but thank you for saying hi, and thank you for telling me the mic was a problem. Can you do a solve? I can absolutely do a solve. Do you want a solve on the 3x3 or the 5x5 or a 4x4? If I do the 5x5 has all of the components of the 3x3 and all of the components of the 4x4. I'll just do a regular solve. I don't generally do it this way because the thing about this method, I'm very proud of it, is that it works on every size complexity Rubik's Cubes. And when I teach someone the 3x3 and then I say, now everything that you've learned is now applied to the 4x4, there's a mental block that slams down into their head and says, no, that looks harder. I'm just going to stick with the 3x3. So when I teach, I always teach with either the 5x5 or all 4 of them at the same time. Is what I'm going to do. So I'll do a solve. I'll just walk through a solve. What I don't like about just walking through a solve, though, is that when I do it on every cube at the same time, I'm more likely to have my cube be like what your cube is. In fact, do you want to join the Zoom so I can see your cube? Then I can use this cube to mirror what your cube is doing. Or I can just do a solve. But, so when I teach with just a 3x3, then the newbies say, nope, that looks harder. So I always teach with a 5x5. But I'll do a 3x3 because that's what's requested. Okay, it's a scramble. I've scrambled it. Here's the scramble. Now, with any cube, by the way, thank you for joining the chat. I appreciate first-time chatters because it's, there's a little shyness to overcome. So thank you for chatting. All right, I always work with this can be color neutral, but my alpha testers all said don't don't make me pick a color, tell me what to do. So we always start with yellow. So whatever cube you have, there's 8 corners. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ignore everything but the corners. We're going to only look at the corners. We're going to only look at the corners. And now we're only going to look at the yellows. So I find that here's a corner that has yellow on it. I'm going to hold it in my hands, and that yellow is face up and under my left thumb. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the front of the cube, and I'm going to see it as if it's a spreadsheet with rows and columns, and the arrows on the formulas are going to show me which slice, the arrow represents which slice I'm going to do, and the line represents the rest of the cube. So so it works on 5 by 5, 10 by 10. You just you select the piece you want to move. Now, so I'm starting with corners. This corner is correct. This corner I selected, so it's correct because I did that. You're that powerful. Okay, so I'm going to check this corner, and let me close out my other Twitch thing that I was trying to figure out. I'll have to figure it out, but I will. Okay, clear out my screen a little bit. Okay, so this is correct. I'm going to make the rest of the cube match it. I don't care. I'm ignoring everything but the corners. So I look at this corner. Is there a yellow? I'm only looking at yellows. Is there a yellow somewhere on this corner? And if yes, formula A, bottom row, right column, is going to move it to the top. If no, I look underneath it and see if there's a yellow anywhere on this corner. If there's a yellow anywhere on one of these 2 corners, A will bring it to the top. Okay, so if there's a yellow here or here, it'll bring it to the top. If not, I rotate the bottom row, and I find until the answer is yes. So if there's a yellow here or here, I hear you, school bus, but right now I'm answering Gigant 123's question. So you'll have I acknowledge you, but you'll have to wait. So here we go. There's a yellow here or here, so formula A is going to bring it to the top. So we go bottom row, right column. And these 2, here's where the action's taking place. So I start by moving this piece out of the action, so away from the action. You move the space down, move the piece into the space, and the piece in space back up again. Now, if the yellow's on top, then I'm going to move it out of the way and keep going. But if not, I'm going to keep doing formula A until that yellow comes into place. So formula A until the yellow's on top. Now I'm keeping the cube stable. I'm not going to rotate it, but I'm going to, since this is a yellow, I'm going to rotate it out of the way, just the top layer, so this one, so this is going to be the next one I work on. And I'm going to continue working formula A until yellow's on top on all 4 corners. So if yellow is here or here, and it is, formula A, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Okay? And then when it's on top, slide it out of the way. Here's another yellow, and if it's here or here, if not, rotate the bottom. So formula A, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Okay, when yellow's on top on all 4 corners, then I usually say, okay, now do that on this one, now do that on this one, now do that on this one, now scramble it and do it again. So I want to make sure everyone is really content, really comfortable with formula A. But let's assume that you're comfortable with formula A, because I'm just doing a walkthrough. So the next thing to do is to check this, because each corner has 3 colors, not just one. So the next thing to do is to check and see whether they're there. So green does not equal whether the sides match. Green does not equal orange, blue equals blue, red does not equal green, orange does not equal red. At this point in time, one of 3 things. Either all of the sides match to each other, or none of them match to each other, or one side matches. It can't be any other way. So if none of them match, it doesn't matter which way you hold it. But if one side matches, you're going to face that away from you, as if it's headlights of a car that you're driving in. And either way, you're going to do formula B, which is the top row and 2 columns, and because we're working on the corners, that's the outside columns. When you get to farther along in the cube, you mix up which columns you use. So top row, outside columns, and following B, I move this piece is going to be preserved. So I move this piece away, and then the left goes up. I move it back, and the right goes up. I move it away, and the left goes down, back, and the right goes down. Okay? This one stayed where it was. The rest of them all moved, but we're going to go right back into A to bring the yellow back to the top again. Out, down, in, up. When yellow's on top, slide it out of the way. And the cube, when the yellow's back on top, will have advanced to 1 stage. So if there was none of the cubes matching, we will now have 1 cube match. If one side was matching, we will now have all of them match. Okay, so when yellow's back to the top, and our sides match now. Okay, so first 4 corners are done. I put the yellow face down. I do the second four corners the exact same way. Yellow is face down until the white is solved. So this one is white, so I'm going to keep it. This one's white, I'm going to keep it. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Phew. Okay, so we'll keep whatever whites are on top, and if none of them are, it doesn't matter. We're just going to do this. So start with the cube under your right thumb has to be twist, has to be affected. The first thing to do is figure out which color is opposite yellow, and it's whatever color it has all four of the cubes have, and it will not be a color that's touching yellow. So it's white. So I'm going to start with these ones out of the way, and this is the corner that I'm going to work on first. So bottom row, right column, and I don't have to check to see if the white's here. I've already did that, so the white's there. So formula A until the white comes to the top. It's once, it's twice, it'll be a multiple of 2 times, and less than 6. So white's on top, slide it out of the way, keep going, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. When the white's on top, we can check and see that the yellow is still happy. And now we check the sides, and again, either all of them match, none of them match, or one side matches. All of them match here, so we can move on to the next step, which is, since the first 4 corners are happy, the second 4 corners are happy, rotate the top row until the top and corners match, and the corners are done. So if it was a 2 by 2, we'd be done. For every other cube, that tells me what those corners being done tells me right now that from this point forward, every cube has a correct space to be. So the white dictates what color each face is going to be. Now this is a good place for me to just throw the white and yellow into their place. But if I already have pieces that are in place that I don't want to mess up, I can just bustle it into place, or I can use formula A. So this row and this column is a way to get it up there without messing up any of the edges. So this row, this column, it's going to end up here, so I move it away, down, in, and up. Okay, so that's the way to do it. So the yellow, and so the opposite edges. This is, you can't tell for the even number cubes of the void cube if the center is correctly placed or not. So now that my corners are done, I've training my eyes. I teach usually newbies. I've been training my eyes to look for yellow and white, so I'm going to continue just looking for yellow and white. So I hold the cube so that as dictated by the corners, yellow and white are left and right. It could be this way, could be this way, but as long as yellow and white are left and right. And then I look for any yellow or whites that happen to be in the middle area. On a 3 by 3, there's just one column. On a 5 by 5, there's more. But I just look for any yellow or whites that I see. And then finding them one at a time. That is the cube that's the cube I'm going to place. I'm ignoring the rest of the cube, except for the corners. The corners are telling me what to do. So, yellow or white, active color on top. If I was using this one, and the active color is in the front, I would flip the cube so it would be on top, but yellow and white are still left and right. Okay, so the first thing I do is this layer, the center can rotate freely until the opposite edges are done. So I'm going to move the corners together as a unit until the corners match the front. Okay, and when the corners match the front, the top color, the active color, tells me which direction it's going to go. So the yellow and blue is going to land above the yellow and blue something corner, not the yellow, I'm sorry, the blue and white something corner, not the yellow and blue is going to land above the blue and yellow. So it's going in this direction. So again, it's 2 columns, and the top row, and the first column is where I want it to land, so this column, and the second column is where it begins. And so the first thing, since the action is going to take place over here, the first thing I'm going to do is move it away from the action. So I move it away, first up, in, second up, away, down, in, down. Okay, that one's placed. And we're just placing pieces one at a time. If this was a 4 by 4 or larger, I would not be spending time looking for pairing up my edges for the reductionist method, because that is actually counterproductive. Because the reductionist method is more likely to give you a parity than letting the pieces pair up themselves. Just find a piece, throw it in its direction, and they pair up themselves, and so you don't have to worry about mentally keeping them together, because if they're not supposed to be, I'll explain parities later. The corners match the front, it's going in this direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Okay, and we're just placing pieces one at a time. Here's another yellow in the corners to match the front. This is not a speed solve method. It's not a fewest moves method. It's lousy with regrips. There's a lot of setup, but it's just Formula A, just Formula B. I can teach newbies, brand new non-cubers, inside of 2 hours. And when I do, they can solve this one, not just this one. So it's worth learning from scratch if you want to. So corners match the front. It's going in the yellow direction, away up, in up, away down, in down. The two columns again are where it's going to land and where it begins. Okay, there's not a yellow here, there's a yellow. Okay, corners match the front. It's going in this direction, away up, in up, away down, in down. Okay, muscle memory. So you don't really have to do the last one. You don't really have to do at this stage of the game, but you do later on. So I do it all of the time so I don't get confused. So corners match the front. It's going in the white direction. So away first up, in second up, away first down, in second down, and that's placed. And we're just placing pieces one at a time. And for as long as there's a yellow or white in the middle, I'm going to keep placing it. And when I run out of yellow or whites in the middle, then I assess to see whether the opposite edges are done or whether they have some incorrect pieces. So corners match the front. It's going in the white direction, away up, in up, away down, in down. Okay, there's another white. Yellow and white have to be left and right with the active color on top. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction, up, up, down, down. Okay, that's not yellow or white, that's not yellow or white, that's not yellow or white, that's not yellow or white. So now I assess. Either the opposite edges will not be correct, or they might have some misplaced that were there before, and I did not get to them yet. Like if this one might have been here, this one might have been here, or vice versa. So if you have a piece that's incorrect, all you're going to do is you're going to use Formula B again and throw a random piece into the spot that's incorrect, and then it'll be in the middle and you can place it correctly and follow the dominoes until they're all done. So once the opposite edges are correct, it's time to work on the side edges. So at this point in time, if you have an odd number cube, if you have an absolute center, place your absolute center now, because if you don't do it, you're going to get a parity. So you can only do that on the absolute centers. If you can't see what the absolute center is, then you don't know whether it's lined up the right way or not, and if you get a parity, then it's just a simple solve. I froze. Am I still here? Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. All right, am I still here? I froze. Somebody say hi, so I know I don't have to reboot. Anybody say hi, so I know I don't have to reboot. Okay, well, it did not freeze, so I'm going to keep going. So at this point in time, the opposite edges are done. I'm going to put the white face down somewhere because yellow is more of my favorite color than white is. So I've got, I'm now going to look at the side edges. So if they're correct, I'm going to leave them alone. If they're incorrect, I'm going to displace it with the Formula B and I'm going to do that by displacing a yellow. I'm going to displace a yellow into this spot, which will move this spot to the top where I can place it again. White is face down until the rest of the cube is done, until the rest of the cage is done. So this one's not correct. I'm going to throw a yellow piece into it, so it's not, because it's not correct. Down. And I'm going to place I'm going to ignore all of the yellows now until yellow finds its way back to the top. So I'm looking for the piece on top that's not yellow, which is right here. And we've already established the Formula B moves a piece from the top front to the side front. So the first thing I'm going to do, holding onto the top layer, I'm going to rotate the rest of the cube, keeping the center keeping it all together until my corners match the front. So yellow is my front color, so I'm going to bring yellow to the orange. I know my colors, I just don't say the right words. Corners match the front. It's going in, the other color is green, so it's going in the green direction, so not above the blue corner, but above the green corner, so it's going in this direction. So again, top row, 2 columns. First column is where it's going to land, second column is where it begins, and I'm going to keep doing this until my yellow finds its way back to the top layer. Not necessarily the top correctly, but just the top layer. So, going in this direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. That one's placed. And I look for the piece on top that's not yellow, which will be on the back here. And I do the same thing with this one. Lather, rinse, repeat. Hold the top, bring the corners to match the front. I'm ignoring the top layer. I'm ignoring the yellow layer. So I'm only paying attention to the bottom corners. So corners match the front. It's going in the blue direction, which is this way. So out, up, in, up, out, down, in, down. And this is yellow. This is not. We'll work on the piece on top that's not yellow. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Up, up, down, down. Okay? And yellow came back to the top, so I set the top and I assess, and everything is happy. This does not handle a parity. It does not explain the parity, but the parity is very easily explained. A parity is caused. Parity is where two pieces and only 2 pieces need to be changed, and the rest of the cube looks correct. Okay, and it's caused because these centers can float. And so this one, there's not an absolute correct place for each piece like there was on the 3x3. This corner can be correct next to the yellow, orange, and blue, or it can be correct next to the yellow, orange, and green, or it can be incorrect in more than one place. So that means the center, you can't tell if it's correct or not. So if you get a parity, it is always, whether it's opposite, whether it's on the same slice, or adjacent to each other, or on different faces, it doesn't matter what it looks like, it's all caused by the same thing, and that is that the slice that touches the parity is a quarter turn off. So when you get to the situation, I always do the centers last, so you can't really, it's easier to it's easier to affect the centers without feeling like you're undoing something. But when you have a parity, take that slice and make it 1/4 turn either direction. And for this slice, where these 4 edges that are affected, we've got 1, 2 that are incorrect and 2 that are correct. There's always 3 pieces. If you only see 2, the third piece that you don't see is the piece that you don't see. So rotate that 1/4 turn, and now 1 is correct either direction. 1 is correct, and 3 of them are not. Solve the edges in this orientation. Your parity has disappeared, and then you can redo the centers, which is why I do the centers last. So that's it. Why can't we do Zoom? Because there's a lot of people here, and one of them wants to do Zoom, and so I will do that with you on Saturday. But the rest of the people had a question for me, and I wanted to answer that question. Because if you want to one-on-one with me, then I can do whatever you want. But right now, this is a classroom that I'm holding, so I have to do what everybody wants. So Jig, did that answer your question, or do you have any more questions for me that I can answer? Or anyone else? Anyone have any questions? Pop in with me. Okay. Other than that, then I'm going to show. It also works on the Minx. I'm sorry. It also works on Minxes. Just Formula A and just Formula B is all you need. So I've showed you what. Let me go to a larger cube here and show you formula. I showed you Formula B for the top row. For the top row on the outside columns, moves the corners around. Top row outside and inside columns moves the edges around. Okay, and again, it's just 2 columns at the same time. So if I wanted to move this one over here, it would be out, up, in, up, out, down, in, down, and 3 pieces, and only 3 pieces are all you ever move. So don't worry, school bus, we will Zoom, but we're going to do that on Saturday. And then 3 times, since 3 pieces are moving, when you do it 3 times, they move back to the start. So first time has the effect of moving in one direction. Doing it twice has the effect of moving it in the other direction, and the third time we'll get it back to start. So how to line it up is you have the cube on top, front top, line up the corners, determine which direction it's going, and then away up, in, up, away down, in, down. And so now that's so if you do 2 inside columns, then we're moving the center pieces around. So it's still the slide up, slide down, and the slide is still the top layer. So to do the centers, you just pick a piece that's wrong, hold it on your front face, and then it's going to go to the top. So you hold the cube so that however you want it to be is on top. Okay, and then you're going to follow this piece, and this piece is going to dictate what your 2 columns are, because we're going to affect it. It's where it intersects on top is what moves it around. So we're going to follow this piece. We go up, slide the top a quarter turn until it's in a different column. This way it's in the same column. So on the diagonal pieces you have to be a little more aware. So let me go back. So I go up, slide it 1 quarter turn to a different column. That's my second column. Okay, and then reverse, down, and set the top. But it looks like I've moved 2 pieces, but I have not. Okay, Formula B always moves 3 pieces. 2 of the pieces, however, were yellow, so it looked like it was moving 2, when really it was moving 3. And to demonstrate that, I'm going to move this piece up into this spot, and this piece is not going to come down here. It's going to come down, it's going to come down over here instead. So following this piece, I go up, slide to a different column, second up, reverse down, and it looks like I swapped these 2 pieces, but you're always moving 3 pieces. And then same thing on this one, works on this one. The only difference being is when I'm working on, when I do the yellow and white first, opposite, corners and then opposite edges, and then when I'm working on the 9 by side, the horizontal of the Formula B is usually something that looks like this, and I can't do that because then I can't access my sides. So the only alteration you have to do to fix the 3 by 9 is every horizontal, instead of being 1 quarter turn, is now 2 quarter turns, and then the layers are accessible. So instead of left like this, left and right, it's 2, 2 each time. And then it also works on these, the minxes, every minx. There is order of operations for the minx that doesn't exist on the cubes, but you cannot get a parity on the minx. And that is that star parts, if one of the 2 columns is the center layer, if it's one of the moving the star parts, then it moves more than 3 pieces. It moves some ancillary pieces that are not star as well. So you do the star parts first and then the non-star parts, because you can move the non-star parts without moving the star, but you can't do star without moving non-star. But again, the formula A would be the same, which would bring this piece to the top, bring a corner to the top, and twist the corner around. And done in groups of 6. The rest of the cube is unaffected. So if you want to keep it, so when it's the way you want it, you can rotate the top in between your set of 6, and the only thing that will be affected is the top layer, because that's the only thing that you did other than outside of the 6 set. The 6 set gets back to however you were, just like the 3 set of B always gets you back to where you were. So the formula A works on corners. Formula B, top row and outside columns, is going to move these corners around, just like it does these corners around. And a top row and 2 side columns is going to move the edges around. And top row and 2 center columns is going to move these edge pieces, these center pieces around. So up, up, down, down, move 3, up again, up, down, down, same 3, and then once more we'll get it back to solved. to your origin, whether if it won't be back to solve unless you start at solve. Okay, and then for the edge pieces, non-star edge pieces, I'm going to move this piece. Come in. Actually, hold on 1 second, guys. Hold on. That's not.
Hello.
Oh, it is. Hi. Hold on 1 second. Hi.
Hi.
I thought you only come on Tuesdays.
They scheduled me to come today, so I didn't realize till I looked at my schedule for today.
Okay. I'm going to finish up what I'm doing. Start me some breakfast?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so. Alright. So this piece is going to go up here. So I go up, slide, second up, and notice there's an intersection on top, which is why it's moving something. Down, down, set the top, and these 3 pieces just moved. Okay, line it up, up, slide up, reverse, down, reverse, down. So that's it. Formula A and B is all you need. I have to go now. Thank you for joining me today, and school bus. Sorry for making you wait, but we will do that on Saturday. And Jig, thank you for the question. I hope I've answered it. For everyone else, not everyone else, go and have a wonderful day. Be nice to yourself. Go drink some water. Get some sunshine. Be happy because you deserve it. And I'll be back here tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. Come back tomorrow. Bye.